Hey everyone, my name is Derek Lieu. I make indie game trailers, and today I'm talking about the third gameplay clip for Half-Life Alyx. I'm going to break down the decisions I think that they made in this gameplay clip, what you can learn from it if you're a game developer or publisher or person making trailers, because even though these things aren't edited, it's like a one-take shot. There's a lot to learn from them in terms of gameplay presentation, answering questions for players who are curious about your game and all that good stuff. If you haven't watched the previous two videos I did, I have two more clips, one for the first gameplay clip and one for the second. I have a lot of stuff I talk about in those, which I'm going to be building upon in this third clip. But now let's dive right in. Okay, so first of all, they're featuring the third type of locomotion in this particular clip. So this one, before they showed teleport and they showed full locomotion, the second one, and then they're showing this one, which is sort of like this dash movement, which kind of splits the difference. And, I think it was really smart to do this because, locomotion seems to be a very controversial thing in the VR world. So it was important to just get this answered so people could see what it looks like and then decide whether or not Valve covered their bases with the locomotion that people want. And so right off the bat here, they've already shown some little gameplay ideas. First of all, in all the previous clips, they had Alyx using the gravity gloves to pick up gun magazines, but here they've decided to have them just pick it up, and that's totally fine. Up ahead here, you can see that Alyx's gun is upgraded. She has this reflex sight, which was featured in an earlier gameplay video in the upgrade station, but now she has it, and you see this little dot in the middle here for aiming. And so you can think about these gameplay clips in terms of, showing a little bit of information and then using it. It's basically a lot like game design too, which is, introduce people to an idea in a safe space and then let them play around with it, which is something that Valve is famous for. So, they're first showing, you can see here, reticle, and then here they're showing it again in application, which they're very precisely aiming with this dot to aim at this tanker here. So it was a really calculated choice to show this scene with this reflex sight, because this lets you see, there's going to be some element of precision necessary to do things like hit these gas canisters. And if they didn't have this sight at all, then it will be a little bit more vague about how precise you have to be in order to do these things. So here they're just making it a lot clearer. And another nice little capture thing here is it's timed precisely so then that this explosion happens as soon as this zoom happens here when they teleport forward. So there's a really nice like zoom, bam sort of momentum to this. It's really, really well done. And then also, like, the music kicks in right away. So I don't know if they added on the music later on or if they sort of customized it a little bit for the scene, or maybe the music is somewhat dynamic in the game itself. They could be showing off that, yes, the music is dynamic with, sort of an action scene starting, but they could have possibly tweaked it a little bit to just make it line up just a little bit better with what's happening, to just demonstrate the idea and just make it better for the video. And so here, they're just showing new information. They got this sort of machine gun enemy. They're dodging around. They see this other enemy here, but then they decide to go over to this van. And so again, a big part of these gameplay clips is to say, hey, this is a VR game. You can do things in this that you won't be able to do in other non-VR games unless it's like a custom sort of created moment. So here they're shooting. They check through the hole to see this other Combine soldier, and they duck down. You see the windshield shatter. They reload, and then here they just use this door as a shield, which, as far as I've heard, car doors don't actually shield you from bullets, but whatever, movie logic. But this is a thing that if this was a non-VR game, it would have to be incredibly situational, where it's like, okay, all of these doors on this car are used as cover. Press X to turn this door into cover. But here they just naturally thought, oh, there's a door here. I will open this and use this to give myself more cover. And again, there's some really good timing here with these different actions. So as soon as they get shot, and they slam it shut, and then move on. It's just really good timing on the capture artist's part of just one thing happening after another. And so another thing to think about in terms of this gameplay clip, one of the things I talked about before is that there is a pacing to these three clips on top of each other. Even though they're three different clips, they do have a sort of dramatic arc to them. So by the time you're watching the third clip, you know a lot of stuff about the game that you didn't know before. So now, teleporting is pretty much old hat. Grabbing things and putting your wrist is something that you've seen before, so they can just rush through it a little bit more. Also, it's a tense shootout scene, so they don't want to be, stopping for a little moment to just hold the magazine in front of their face so the audience can see it. They want to make it a little bit more action-y now that people, hopefully, if they watch them in chronological order, then it's easier for them to understand and just be in that moment. And so here's another moment here, which is fun. They dash forward, they open the bathroom door, use that as cover, and then they just smash open this crate to get another magazine. And then they look up, and then, oh my God, there's this ship. So this ship here is also another moment which feels a little bit like in gameplay clip number 2, where that energy came out of that structure, and it was like perfectly timed. So this is something that, maybe this happens at the exact same part of this sequence every single time you play it, and then the person capturing it knew, okay, look up now, or maybe they heard it, and then say, oh my God, the ship is coming, better look up in the sky, so then that you can see this thing happening. And it's really, well paced in terms of smash this thing, like, oh my God, ship, look up, cool. And then they move on from here. But again, if it wasn't just the same every single time, or they weren't going off of audio cues, then they probably could have done something like have a button to press, then that the ship comes in exactly when they want it to, so then that they don't have to time it so perfectly or depend on so many other variables lining up, so then that they could look up at that exact moment to see that ship. But again, that's all speculation. Classic, reaching into toilet to get health items. Another quick gameplay idea showing off there. And see, again, just they really like zooming in exactly on those explosions. Really nice presentation there. And then here, so this was another big question and somewhat controversial, was ladders, because there was a video released by Tested where you could see in the background that there was like a teleportation mechanic to the ladders, where you just sort of wait for the thing to load, then you climb the ladder. So a lot of people are saying, oh man, I want real ladders. I want ladders that I'm going to climb. Whereas people like me, who get incredibly nauseated from VR motion like that, thought, no, I want to teleport up my ladders because otherwise I'll throw up. But so for the people who are wondering about the ladders, they put in this little part here to say, yo, people who love ladders, we got you. And also it's this cool little gameplay moment where they sort of reach up and then shoot the Combine soldier. And then here, showing off this little shotgun loader thing here, which is really cool. Show some gun upgrades. One little thing here I just noticed is they load up this shotgun, but then off screen they switch guns. So now you see it's the pistol. And then the pistol gets used to shoot this manhack with the precision sight or whatever it's called, and they dodge it and they blow it up. And so again, you can see really quick thing here. You can see there's the weapon switching thing. So you can see there's a hand here, there's a pistol here, and a shotgun here. Just showing how in the heat of the moment, it's really easy to switch weapons. And so again, cool mechanic here with the gravity gloves. This grenade got thrown in, they caught it, threw it out there. And then, they even up the ante a little bit here right away. By the way, you can just catch the grenades without the gravity gloves, no problem. Toss it at the enemy. And so this moment, before you even get to the grenade, they're showing off a little bit. So again, they're showing the VR interaction. There's this barrel, or this pail, which is upside down, and they just knock it over. And when they knock it over, you see there's this bottle here, which I think that's what's smashing. And then it's just throwing all this water out from this thing, showing off just the interaction and the level of detail. Then they grab this grenade, they put it onto the front of the shotgun here. And so this moment here, the music stops as soon as this enemy blows up. Now, I don't know if in the game this is how it works, where like the music, it stops as soon as the last enemy is killed. I mean, it sounds like something that a lot of other games do, so it's certainly possible. But they could also have, adjusted the timing on the music a little bit so then it lined up perfectly and just made the gameplay clip a little more engaging. And so the thing that makes me think that they tweaked the music a little bit here, because, there is still one enemy alive here. So if in the game the music is programmed to stop as soon as the place is clear, then the music would probably end when this enemy is shot. But by ending the music here, they are allowed to have this sort of breather moment where they're recharging of their health, and there's like a little bit more suspense here. So, the way to make something really dramatic and exciting is to juxtapose it with something that contrasts to it. So for example, right here, we have this quiet moment where there's a little waiting, and then we get to end this nice little punctuation moment at the end here where they shoot this last soldier and we cut to black. All right, so that's my final breakdown of the gameplay clips for Half-Life Alyx. Again, if you haven't watched the previous ones, I recommend you go back and watch those and, look at my analysis for those clips. But I think that there's a lot you can learn from these three clips together, especially as one entire piece. Because again, I think that these were designed to have a certain pacing that works in tandem with each other. So, this first clip is very long. It's the longest of the three, in fact. The second one, a little bit shorter, but it's sort of like a middle moment. And then here we have this sort of final climax. So the thing I would recommend that you think about if you're making gameplay clips for your games is to still think about that pacing of information that you're giving, even though what you're giving is purportedly some sort of like raw gameplay, because there is a way to show new things constantly and have it be very exciting straight through. Sometimes maybe it requires some sort of customization within a level so then that things aren't too redundant, but really pacing is pretty universal across a lot of things, because just we're human, so we get bored when something is too samey all the time. So just like 1-1 in Super Mario Brothers has a certain pacing to it where they're upping the stakes the whole time. You can do the same thing with your gameplay trailers, with your gameplay clips, and all that sort of thing. If there's anything that you learned from this video that really was valuable to you, please leave me a comment below and let me know. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Just leave a comment. And also, I want to give a shout out to my top Patreon supporters who support making of content like this and my newsletter, which is, you can sign up at GameTrailerEditor.com. I really love making these videos, just explaining how these things work. It helps me understand how they work, and hopefully it helps you. I just want people to make really good videos for their games. With your support, I get to do a little bit more of these things on the side in addition to my actual work. But yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to be back in the not too distant future with some more videos like this, or other things about just making game trailers. All right, thanks.